I raised Rose to be strong. Some people might call it tough love, but I knew exactly what I was doing. I wasn't one of those mothers who coddled her child with endless affection or praised every little thing she did. No, I didn't have time for that. I had to teach her about the real world, the world that doesn't hand you anything. The world that makes you earn what you get. From the moment she was born, I knew I had to be different. I had to be the kind of mother who taught her to stand on her own 2 feet, who showed her the value of hard work and discipline. Some people would argue that I was too strict, but I didn't see it that way. I wasn't going to let her be one of those entitled children, the ones who think they deserve everything without putting in the effort. I didn't want her to grow up lazy or weak. She needed to learn that life wasn't a free ride, and the only way she would get ahead was through her own determination. So I set the rules early on. There were boundaries, expectations. I made sure she followed them. There was no room for emotional indulgence in my house. If I showed her affection, it was always after she accomplished something, earned it. I wasn't going to spoil her with endless praise or empty compliments for just doing what she was supposed to do. I provided everything she needed. Food, shelter, the best schools, a piano for her to learn. Dance lessons. All of that was available to her, but I didn't give her everything she wanted. I wasn't one of those mothers who would just give in because her child threw a fit or acted out. No. I made sure she understood the importance of working hard for what she wanted. And still, no matter how much I did for her, no matter how much I provided, it never felt like it was enough. She was never satisfied. She never thanked me. I gave her everything I had, everything I thought would make her life better. But she never showed any appreciation. It didn't matter how much I sacrificed, how many hours I worked. Nothing was ever good enough in her eyes. I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was giving her what she needed to succeed in life. But when she turned 15, that's when I started to notice the cracks. That's when things started to change. When Rose turned 15, it was like someone flipped a switch. I couldn't quite put my finger on it at first, but I could feel the change in the air. She started retreating into herself more and more. She spent hours in her room, away from the family, headphones in, doors closed. It wasn't just the usual teenage moodiness, it was something different. I had always been there for her, providing structure and support, but now it seemed like nothing I did could reach her. I didn't understand it. She wasn't the same sweet, open girl anymore. She was distant, almost cold. And I was at a loss. I thought I had given her everything she could possibly want or need, so why was she shutting me out? Why was she so unhappy when everything in her life seemed perfect? Maybe it was the internet, I thought. It wasn't like it used to be when I was raising her, back when there was less access to social media and all the nonsense that came with it. I saw how easily young people could be influenced by those influencers, those so-called role models who encouraged rebellion. They made kids believe they had to break away from everything, to challenge everything their parents said, to rebel against the rules. Maybe that's what was happening to Rose. Maybe she was falling into that trap, just like so many others. But I couldn't bring myself to believe it was my fault. No, I wasn't to blame for the way she was acting. I had done everything right. I had provided her with the best education, the best opportunities. I had been strict with her to make sure she understood the value of hard work and independence. She had everything, and yet, there she was, retreating into herself, shutting me out. Then came the blue hair. I had to admit, it irritated me. I didn't understand it. She had always been a quiet, obedient child, and now this? Dyeing her hair blue seemed like a cry for attention, something to rebel with, something to push my buttons. But I didn't want to make a huge deal out of it. She was growing up, trying to figure herself out. I said to her, "You look ridiculous, but I'm not going to argue with you. Just don't go out like that." I wasn't going to make it a battle, but I wasn't going to pretend that I approved. She needed to know that just because she wanted to do something didn't mean I had to be on board. She needed to know that I wouldn't tolerate nonsense, no matter what phase she was going through. But after that, it only got worse. The distance between us grew wider. Every time I tried to talk to her, to ask her what was going on, she brushed me off. She wasn't the same. She had changed, and I couldn't understand why. I kept thinking, what happened to the sweet girl I raised? I tried, again and again, to get through to her. What's wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? I'd ask. You think you're better than me? But she didn't want to talk. She didn't want to explain. Instead, she just told me that I was too controlling, that I didn't understand her. I didn't need to understand her emotions, I thought. I wasn't trying to be her friend. I was her mother, and I had raised her to be strong. To be independent. That was the goal. She would thank me for it later. But she didn't see it that way. And the more I tried to reach out, the more she pushed me away. It was like she didn't appreciate anything I had done for her, anything I had given her. All I wanted was for her to understand the sacrifices I had made, to see that I was trying to give her the best possible life. But it wasn't enough. So I kept telling myself it was just a phase. She would grow out of it. Eventually, she would see that I was right, that everything I did was for her own good. She would come to appreciate it, I was sure of it. But the distance didn't fade. It only grew. As the months went by, the situation didn't improve. If anything, it got worse. Rose spent more time in her room, shutting herself off from the rest of the world. I kept telling myself it was just a phase, something that every teenager goes through. But deep down, I knew this was something more. She wasn't the same. She wasn't the sweet, open girl I used to know. She was becoming someone I couldn't reach, someone who didn't want to be reached. At first, I thought she was just busy with school or friends. Maybe she was stressed. But the longer this went on, the more it felt like she was purposefully pulling away from me. I didn't understand it. I thought I had been doing everything right. I had given her a good education, I had given her opportunities. She had everything she could have ever asked for. So why was she pushing me away? And the more she withdrew, the more I tried to pull her back. I asked her what was wrong, but she never gave me a real answer. Whenever I tried to talk to her about it, she'd tell me I was too controlling. You don't understand me, she'd say, as if that explained everything. I didn't need to understand her emotions, I thought. I didn't need to get caught up in her feelings to know what was best for her. I had given her the tools to succeed: discipline, hard work, independence. That was the foundation I had built for her. She should have been grateful for it, not angry. I was doing everything for her future, but she couldn't see it. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to break through. I was stuck in this cycle of trying to make her understand, while she kept pulling away further and further. It felt like I was losing her. The person I had spent all these years raising, the girl who had once been so sweet and eager to please, was slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. When she turned 20 and started therapy, I thought it was just another phase. Therapy? It seemed like another way to blame me for everything. She had always been so strong, so capable. She didn't need therapy. She was just letting people fill her head with nonsense. Don't listen to those therapists, I told her. They're just making you confused. I raised you just fine. You don't need to dig up things from your past and make them worse. But she didn't listen to me. She thought she had it all figured out. And maybe that's what hurt the most, that she thought I had failed her, that she couldn't trust me anymore. I thought if I just kept doing what I had always done, if I kept giving her the structure and the discipline she needed, everything would turn out okay. I wasn't ready to admit that I might have made a mistake, that I might have gotten something wrong. But when she stopped calling, when the silence stretched on, I started to wonder if I had made a huge mistake. I had given her everything, everything I thought she needed. So why was she pulling away? Was it my fault? Did I push her too hard? The more time passed, the more uncertain I became. Maybe I wasn't doing everything right after all. Maybe I had missed something, some piece of her that I hadn't seen, some need I hadn't fulfilled. But I didn't know what to do. I couldn't fix it now. She was pulling away, and I had no idea how to stop it. And then it happened. One day, there was no more communication. At first, I thought it was nothing, maybe she was busy with school, maybe something came up. I could understand that. We all have busy lives, and I didn't want to overreact. So, I gave her space. I didn't call immediately. But then days passed, then weeks. The silence was deafening. I started to get worried, then frustrated. I left messages, sent texts, nothing. No response. I began to wonder if something was wrong. Was she hurt? Did something happen to her? But no, I knew she was fine. She was just avoiding me. And the more I tried to reach out, the more it felt like she was deliberately cutting me off. A few weeks later, I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted her. I called her, sent her a message, desperate for some explanation. I needed to know what was going on. But what I got in return left me speechless. She told me, with no hesitation, that I was toxic. She said that she needed space, that she couldn't deal with me anymore, that the way I treated her had hurt her. Toxic? Space? I was stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could she say that? I had given her everything, everything she could have asked for. I worked hard to make sure she had the best education, the best opportunities. I had sacrificed so much to make sure she didn't want for anything. How could she possibly think I was toxic? I was her mother. I had always been there for her. I had provided, I had supported, I had disciplined her when needed. What more could I have done? I told myself that maybe she was just angry, maybe she was confused. But deep down, I couldn't help feeling betrayed. I wasn't going to apologize for doing what I thought was right. I wasn't going to apologize for teaching her how to be strong, how to stand on her own. I couldn't fathom how she could say I was toxic after everything I had done for her. She was the one shutting me out, not the other way around. I didn't need to beg for her approval. I was doing what was best for her. But the pain of those words stuck with me. She thought I was toxic. She thought I was the problem. After all the sacrifices, all the hard work, this was how she saw me. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And still, I didn't give up. I told myself she'd come back. It was just a phase. She was angry now, but she'd come around. She had to. She would realize, eventually, that I had only ever wanted the best for her. She had to understand that. One day, she would come back to me. I knew it. Chapter 5, The Belief in Return. I didn't want to admit it, but the more time passed, the more I started to fear that maybe she wouldn't come back. The silence had stretched on for so long, and still, I hadn't heard from her. But in my heart, I couldn't bring myself to believe that it was truly over. Of course, I believed she would come back. She was my daughter, and I had done everything for her. She had to realize, one day, that I had been right all along. She had to understand that the discipline, the structure, the independence I had pushed her to embrace, it was all for her own good. Yes, she was angry now, but anger is just a phase. She would grow out of it. And when she did, she would see that I hadn't been the problem. No. I had given her the tools to succeed. I had made her strong. I had prepared her for life. The world is tough, and it doesn't give you anything for free. She would learn that, just like I had. And when she did, she would come back to me, ready to thank me for everything I had done for her. She would see that I had done what was best for her, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. I didn't raise a weak daughter. I didn't raise someone who would crumble at the first sign of adversity. I raised someone who could stand on her own, who could face the world and make her own way. I had done my job. I wasn't going to apologize for that. I did what was necessary. And eventually, Rose would realize that. I knew she would. I was her mother. And mothers never give up on their children. No matter how far away they go, no matter how long it takes, they always come back. Because, in the end, they need you. And when she does, I'll be here. Ready to remind her of all I did for her. Ready to remind her that it was all for her own good. And she will thank me. One day, she will. It's funny, isn't it? The way time seems to stretch and contract when you're waiting for something that you know might not ever come. In my case, it's the waiting for Rose to come back, for her to realize that I was doing everything out of love, that I wasn't trying to hurt her. The silence still hangs heavy in the air. It's been months since we last spoke, and yet, it feels like a lifetime. At first, I believed she would come back. I was certain. I had to believe it. I couldn't imagine that she wouldn't see that I was right, that the tough love, the rules, the discipline, it was all for her good. I had always told myself that one day, she would thank me for pushing her to be strong, for teaching her how to stand on her own 2 feet. I thought the anger was just a phase, something she would grow out of. I thought that time would heal everything. But now, as the months drag on, I'm beginning to wonder. I'm starting to wonder if she will ever come back, if she will ever reach out and see things the way I do. She was always so strong-willed. She always thought she knew better. And maybe that's what I didn't understand, that sometimes, you can do everything right and still lose someone. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know what she's feeling. I have no idea what kind of life she's living now. But I hope she's okay. I hope she's found peace, even if it's without me. I hope she's building the life she wants, the life that makes her happy. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm not as sure as I once was that she'll come back. I think part of me always believed that eventually, the anger would subside, and she would realize that everything I did was because I loved her. But what if I'm wrong? What if she doesn't come back? What if this is really it? It's a painful thought. To know that I might have lost her forever. But I've had to learn to live with it. I've had to learn that no matter how much I tried, no matter how much I gave, sometimes people just need to find their own way, even if it means leaving you behind. And maybe that's the hardest thing to accept, that I can't fix everything, that not everything is within my control. But I'm still her mother. And as much as I want to see her again, as much as I want to hold her and tell her I did what I thought was best, I have to accept that she may never come back. And if she doesn't, I will have to find a way to live with that, too. I won't apologize for what I did. I know in my heart that I did what I thought was right. I didn't coddle her, I didn't spoil her, and I didn't let her think the world owed her anything. I taught her to be strong, and I hope, no matter where she is or what she's doing, that she carries that strength with her. And if, one day, she decides to come back, I'll be here, waiting for her. I'll be here with open arms, ready to remind her of everything I did for her. But for now, I have to let go. Let go of the hope that she'll come back, and let go of the need to make her understand. Because at the end of the day, all I really want is for her to be happy, no matter what that looks like. I did my job. I gave her the tools to stand on her own. Whether she ever comes back or not, I can hold my head up high knowing I did the best I could. And maybe, one day, she'll understand. Maybe.
Reading this story, I feel an overwhelming mix of emotions: heartbreak, frustration, and a strange sense of sadness for both mother and daughter. It's impossible not to feel the pain in the mother's words, the way she pours her heart into explaining how she believed she was doing everything right, how she truly thought she was giving her daughter what was needed to survive in this world. There's this unshakable feeling that this mother, despite all her intentions, is so deeply entrenched in her idea of tough love that she can't see the cracks forming in her relationship with Rose. It's hard not to feel for the mother. She genuinely thought she was doing what was best, pushing her daughter to be independent, not realizing that perhaps she was pushing her away in the process. The lack of emotional connection, the inability to truly listen or see what Rose might have needed emotionally, even though she thought she was providing everything else, is heartbreaking. I feel for Rose, too. The more I read, the more I understand why she retreated. It wasn't just teenage rebellion or anger, it was her trying to make sense of a world where her mother loved her but couldn't connect with her emotionally. The more the mother tried to fix things, the more it seemed like Rose was sinking deeper into herself, struggling to find a space where she was truly seen for who she was, not just for what her mother thought she needed to be. What stands out to me most is how this mother, in all her certainty, can't see her own blind spots. She genuinely believes that one day, Rose will come back and thank her, but I'm not sure she fully grasps the depth of the emotional gap between them. There's a sense of denial in her reaction, a belief that everything will somehow fix itself when Rose finally realizes how right she was all along. But that belief also highlights something important: how easy it is for people, even parents, to confuse their own way of loving with the way the other person needs to be loved. This mother, despite her sacrifices and discipline, didn't give Rose the one thing she needed the most: emotional connection, understanding, and validation. That's the tragedy of it. She gave everything materially, but emotionally, she was always just a step behind. And as much as I feel for this mother, I can't help but feel the weight of the loss. The silence between them. The unspoken pain. The idea that a mother and daughter who were once so close can end up like this, distant, hurting, unsure of how to bridge the gap. It's a powerful reminder of how easy it is to miss what's right in front of you, especially when you're so focused on doing things your way. This story leaves me with a deep sense of sadness but also a longing for the healing that might come one day, even if it takes time. I hope, somehow, Rose finds peace in her own way. And I hope this mother, too, learns to understand that loving someone doesn't always mean doing what you think is best. Sometimes, it's about listening, really listening, and letting them find their own path.